You have to win with all of them, all of your decks.
Yeah. So Praetorian is going to have to lean on the other two decks. And oftentimes I feel like the fact that people try to ban out certain other decks, they might realize that it's not as scary, you know. A lot of people tried to, you know, ban around Portal or something like that. But we'll see. Praetorian has been able to run it every single game, and it's been working out. And I can't imagine that Daria would operate any worse or less than for other players.
That's true.
So
that's true. And there's a lot more counterplay when you have to play all three of your decks. It looks like both players actually loading with their Shadowcraft deck first. So we start out with a mirror match. Yeah. All right. And this is one of those matchups I was talking about, guys. This one's always kind of up in the air. You know, you can always play well, but sometimes even Sheepy, who plays mid-range Shadowcraft a bunch, played the mirror, just didn't have the right options at the right time, and got taken down.
Himari versus Praetorian. Himari's thinking about his mulligan a bit. And the good disaster training will tell him to think very carefully about this.
That's right.
It really kind of affects kind of your mulligan strategy. Really affects kind of how the game plays out. So it looks like there's a lot of good tools in the early parts for Praetorian's hand.
Himari's hand can be okay. I mean, Bellinus into Pure Singer is not the worst start. Skull Ring a little bit better. And 2 Bellinus also in the hand for Praetorian. So both have pretty okay starts. If Praetorian, again, those top deck Prince Catacombs will always be the things that you're looking for. That can basically cement the entire mid game for him if he can top deck into it.
Oh my gosh.
It's very, very interesting though. So one person has card draw. The other person has built-in card advantage in the form of Skull Ring, getting back cards as opposed to drawing new ones.
Yeah.
All right, Prince Catacomb drawn for Himari, but Himari is going second, so a little bit harder to pull off.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a tough hand, especially if the Andrialphus is really going to help extend the life of this hand.
And this is kind of a rough trade, but because of Skull Ring, it's pretty necessary. Otherwise, Bellinus can clear off one of these 1/1s as well.
Yeah. You're not losing too much. This helps kind of justify the PR Singer, I feel like.
Does help. I mean, Bellinus also still a really good option into a board filled with 1/1s.
Yeah. Though, if you Pure Heart now, you can maybe double Bellinus next turn. Catacomb is kind of not a super appealing option when you know you're not really going to maintain cards on board so much.
That's true. And yeah, kind of a weird option for Praetorian. So I think he's going to go with the Goblin Bellinus plan here and save the Andrialphus for the evolution turn. But if he does that, that means he's not really going to have much to Andrialphus in hand. So this is kind of a weird play. Maybe he just does put the Andrialphus in play. Maybe alongside the Bellinus.
There's a lot of considerations to be made. I think if you drop the Andrialphus, you do risk it just being evolved over.
You do.
Okay.
But, again, the Skull Ring is going to pop, so you could get your Andrialphus back.
Yeah. Which essentially provides you the extra draw, right? Because the Andrialphus will draw on its last word, come back, and continue providing effects. So this is a tough board. I almost wish Praetorian had the Catacomb here, you know?
Right. Definitely cemented this mid-game. But as it stands, Himari does have options to take care of a lot of this board if he wants to.
Yeah, I really feel like double Bellinus. I feel like going wide is almost a must.
Can be a little scary, of course, because he doesn't have like the immediate option to remove the entire board. So something like a top deck Prince Catacomb will still be good for Praetorian. But the Bellinuses will help with that.
Hey, let's go back to that old thing that we always talked about.
The old thing. All right, what is it?
The situational wish you had Sarah's here.
Oh my goodness, man. Dude, I want Sarah's every single game as Shadow.
Yes, I got him to start it again.
Oh, my goodness. Dude, Saris I still feel like is the most underutilized card in mid-range Shadowcraft. I can understand if you don't want to play 3 of it, okay? I can understand if you don't want to play it at all. Not really. But, like, just I mean...
It locks out a lot of the early game board.
Good. It does. It helps actually get you back into a game that you otherwise would lose in the mirror matchup because they have to devote so many resources to taking it out. If they don't have an immediate soul squasher, they actually can't take it out in most circumstances. And it just kind of sits there and takes over the entire game. I remember there was a game where my opponent did Prince Catacomb into Prince Catacomb on turn 4, turn 5. They were on the play. I had Saris into Odile, and because of it, I won the game.
Yeah.
It was just too hard for them to deal with, even though they had full board after full board.
Yeah.
It's one of the only comeback mechanisms in the deck. It's the only heal option that they really have access to. But anyway, enough about Saris.
Yeah. I mean, almost every single early game follower from Shadow, it just locks out.
Locks it all out. And evoing into it never feels good either, so.
Oh! Balance is finding value. So I think the hand is great for Himari. He's got the Odile. He's got 2 Prince Catacombs and a Skeleton Prince. The only thing that he wants to land on is something like an Ector.
And I like it. So Praetorian basically getting out the hand as quickly as he can so that he's not susceptible to an Odile. And he's got an Odile of his own if Himari wants to try to match board presence, which realistically he doesn't have the option to anyway. This is a pretty rough turn for Himari, to be honest. Pure-Hearted Singer's okay. But then there's not really a play after that. He could Demon Eater it, draw a bunch of cards, but then he's going to be taking a lot of damage. But yeah, honestly, he doesn't have a good play here.
Yeah, I think, given the scenario,
Wait,
I would. Oh,
passed?
you don't play. Okay, this is the sheepy turn.
Okay, that's true.
Right.
You prevent the Prince Catacomb.
Yep.
Which he did draw.
This is the sheepy turn.
Yeah, it is. This is literally the same play he made.
The classic. The good old turnaround.
And this is perfect because this will also set up a good Odile turn. Just depends on if Praetorian wants to evolve over this or not.
So if he does evolve, he does 3, 5, 7 damage, which puts him at 11, 1 away from Aisha. But an Odile might be 2 back-breaking off of this, right? Like, that is so much value that you gain.
I mean, even in Evo, this turn doesn't really help the whole Odile situation because you still have the Odile to knock into the 3-3. This is a really stunning play. Both players made this. Get so much advantage out of it.
Yeah, it's disaster mindshare, man.
That's right. It's their crowdsourcing of their Shadowverse minds. So it looks like he is going to evolve anyway.
Okay, goes for the evolve, and that means Himari can actually swing in with the Odile.
Can't imagine any other play here. That's specifically why he didn't play anything the previous turn, to make sure that the board space was going to remain the same. And he's going to clear this out. Now, a response Odile is not bad. Presents 2 damage. Puts Himari below 10.
And I think there's not much more to follow up off of that on Himari's side. Has 2 evolution orbs compared to the none of Praetorian, and that means these next few turns are going to be the biggest ability for Himari to swing past. If he can get certain followers to survive with stats that are just a little bit too large, what it essentially means is that sets up for Catacomb, which means that even if Praetorian were to draw into an option, the last word effects are going to proc. And again, talking about the Ector as kind of the game finisher, I feel like that's what Himari should be aiming for right now. Oh!
Yep, like Praetorian's basically still has all of the tempo he needs. So it's not like he's hurting right now. But if he does not draw into an Aisha option before too long, or an Ektar, he might be in trouble.
Yeah. I really think that's... It's definitely a race here for Himari versus Praetorian. I think the way that this board is played out, because there's not like a second Odile or anything like that, there's not any opportunity for board control here. Himari needs to take 1 more round of damage to the face before he can kind of stabilize. That might be the nail in the coffin, right? Again, no healing, no ward in this version of Mid-Shadow, which means that you could be in a world of pain.
Yeah, and I mean, like, there are good options to get back on. Good options to get back on the board, but how do you sustain? How do you keep it going? How do you keep your momentum rolling? This is tough.
Okay. Now with the followers on board, let's see what you can do. You run 1 follower into the Skeleton Prince. You can pop the last word effect with another. And then Odile can swipe. So I would assume the Andrialphus goes into one and the Catacomb goes into the other.
Really just depends on if he wants to, if he wants to go all in on this. Get one more damage on the Skeleton Prince here.
Interesting. If he had thrown in his Andrialphus, he would have drawn a card. That is an interesting choice.
This is still really good, though. I mean, getting HIMARI down to 8. Again, presenting a board that's tough to deal with. There is an evolution point left for HIMARI, so he still has some lasting power, but the cards in hand are kind of awkward.
Do you play the Demon Eater or do you play the Andrialphus? Or I guess the Luriel is another diverting option as well. I feel like you kind of want the card draw.
Yeah, I think at this point it's all about the card draw. There's no cards left in hand. You're just trying to get to your endgame options. Again, like we talked about, he is ahead. But if he doesn't get to something like an Ektar or an Aisha, HIMARI does have a possibility of coming back into this.
Skeleton Prince have one more evolution orb available here. And HIMARI is having a tough time. He's not actually drawing into a lot of his great options. And even if you just spent a bunch of turns just Demon Eatering, I mean, I guess he can actually take this board back, but it is really relying on Praetorian not having a Nectar, which he doesn't actually have one, but...
Yeah, he's kind of playing Brick Shadow at the moment. I mean, he's got options to possibly get to a sticky board, but he's been playing from behind this entire time.
I think that was a very easy choice.
Oh.
Okay. Well, knowing this, I feel like playing an Aisha plus an evolved follower is... Oh, no. Okay, so what happens here? I guess he can take down one follower, so it's going to be 2/6 damage on the Ektar play.
Still going to be super rough.
You're going to have enough shadows to summon the 2 zombies as well. So that's some board clear alongside the face damage.
If Praetorian cannot close it out after this Ektar, okay.
Okay.
Never mind.
Well, and at this point, if you play the Ektar, even just a normal enhanced Aisha, not using the double strike, will actually just take the win.
All right, so he is going to play the Ektar, which will get rid of all of his shadows.
Oh yeah, this is lethal.
Oh, yeah, never mind.
He swung into the last word with the Catacomb effect.
Yep.
And HIMARI just brick shadow, that's right.
Yeah, I mean he had a card draw. He just didn't really have cards that worked well together. Like, he had the Prince Catacombs, but never really had a board to put it together. Had more card draw in the form of Pure-Hearted Singer, but never really a turn that he could actually get advantage out of it.
Yeah, that's the mirror down for Praetorian, and I do feel like the mirror is one of the tougher things for Shadow to play out against, right?
It is.
So Praetorian is probably breathing a sigh of relief there.
Yeah, not like basically having a lack of a lot of the card draw options that he'd want, right? And kind of started running out of cards, but never actually stepped off the gas pedal with with having more board presence.
Yeah. Yeah, HIMARI had a tough time of that one, and I expect him to run okay. He actually swaps a dragon in this matchup.
Which is interesting because, of course, we know that Praetorian does have some tech against it with the Fall from Graces.
Fall from Grace, Nilpotent, all very nice.
Ways to stop the end game here.
Okay, that's a pretty good early hand. You have 2 diverging choices with this hand, right? You can go for additional card draw by playing the Majestial Lion, or you can have more presence and board control in the early game through the Icarus. And this is one of those situations you were talking about for HIMARI, right? In many scenarios, you actually like to keep the Sybil.
Right. More and more, it always depends, though. If you're on the play, keeping the Sybil makes a little bit more sense. If you're going second, not so much. But against a deck that can just curve out against you like Portal can, sometimes keeping the Sybil's rough because you still need early action. You need to be able to deal with the boards.
I don't know, on the play, Sybil seems pretty good.
I like it. I usually keep it on the play. I think there's not really better cards that you can keep. The problem with Sybil on the play, though, is that you don't always gain the defense back from it.
Because you play it on 5.
Because you play it on 5, right.
Yep. Ramps you up to 6, which is not overflow. Which actually is quite a big difference.
Well, it'll still get you to 7 on the following turn. Not that turn specifically for the defense, but yeah. Still sets you up for nice early tiltings, nice early things like Sahaquil into Israfil.
Pass turn here, which I feel like Praetorian commonly has mana production, but not this time.
Not this time. No Deus Ex yet either.
Pass turn for HIMARI. So not quite as bad, but kind of worrying. A little bit worrying.
Yeah.
I feel like you have to play the Scyther here. Because the Pure-Hearted Singer, at least currently the way the board is, and eventually the Iron Staff mechanic comes in, and that gets really bad.
Yeah, then it gets really rough to deal with. I kind of want to delve into the choices for Portalcraft here too, so you guys can kind of understand it a little better. We kind of talk about it a little bit every once in a while, but it's good to always brush up. The reason why you go Magisteel Lion and then say the wards here next is because you want to put the card draw in first before you find or before you have the Deus Ex, because it gives you the best chance of drawing it. If you flood your deck with the ancient artifacts early, yes, you can top deck them. Yes, they can help you get into a better mid game. But they don't cycle. They don't get you closer to the Deus Ex, and this is a matchup where if you actually don't get to your cycle engine, it could be really rough.
Now, I think this is really interesting. Substitute on Pure-Hearted Singer, obviously a very good thing because you prevent your opponent from drawing cards. Oh my god, that was absolutely necessary. If he had gone down the path of Zero Fine, that would have been a Bahamut or something like that. And that would have hurt because Praetorian is on a curve. He is on the draw, which means the next turn he could have possibly done Icarus plus Artifact Flood, which would have been really bad news. But the Salamander will be able to keep that under control, prevent the extra 2 damage from happening. But this opens up an opportunity, right, for Praetorian. Now you still have the option of using Substitute on the Pure-Hearted Singer. It's nice that Praetorian actually drew into Nilpotent, but I don't think based on the ramp the timing is going to be good because Praetorian probably wants to already have played a Deus Ex at that point.
Right. I don't think that's going to stick around long enough. Again, he will have Fall from Graces to fall back on if he needs to. This is definitely not a hand where HIMARI has the tilting at windmills yet, though.
Interesting. He can actually copy that ward.
Yeah, probably the play here. Going into turn 5, you basically just want to build up the biggest board that you can to prevent a Fervor play, or if they do Fervor, they're going to get punished for it.
Yeah. And that Mystic artifact is very similar to the Analyzing artifact in the sense that because it draws a card, you're not necessarily going behind. Obviously, the Analyzing artifacts are so cheap that oftentimes it can be a cycle for free. But, like you mentioned about clogging your deck, still very effective in not clogging up your hand as much. Yeah,
if everything that you put in your deck draws a card, you're not really clogging very much. You're giving yourself essentially more artifacts that are dying, which will set up better Sephiras, and you're getting closer to Deus Ex all the time. And if you're not, at least you're building towards your end game one way or another. So the draw cards are definitely better to start with, but if you start with a Deus Ex in your hand, it kind of switches the opposite way. It almost is better to start going with the ancient artifacts because you want the bigger non-reliant on Acceleratium style followers in your deck.
We've seen that happen too, right? Acceleratiums run out towards the end of the game, and if you don't have enough ancient artifacts, then all of a sudden you don't actually have the board control that Portalcraft is known for.
Right. Alright, so HIMARI drawing into an Ayla there too, which is really nice. Now we're getting into turns where he's got Sahaquil and Conflagration, and yeah, Praetorian. Right before turn 6. It's just like,
what is the
it's
phrase?
His calling card.
A wizard arrives at precisely the time
he means to.
He means to, or something like that.
Something like that, yeah. I think you made that statement last time we saw Praetorian play. It's true, though. It's true. Yeah, a wizard is never late. That's what it is.
A wizard is never late.
He arrives precisely when he means to.
Oh,
is Deus Ex a wizard?
I don't
know.
Blade wizard.
A blade wizard.
Yeah.
Okay.
She makes blades fly around and float.
That's true. She does do that.
I think it's very easy to justify just spending evolution orbs, just swinging.
Yep.
You have Conflagration, so if Praetorian is following the deck list, that might be something that he's thinking about.
Well, honestly speaking, this is the type of hand that you almost would consider saving because there is the Fall from Grace and the Nilpotent in it. But knowing there's no tilting at windmills, which we know, that's not necessarily a good keep, but Praetorian doesn't know this, so maybe he will keep these options in hand. But we'll see. I don't know if he can afford to after this board gets wiped, though.
Yeah. Sahaquil plus Israfil will swing across, if that is a choice. Be an easy clear plus 2 damage.
Conflagration will do the same thing.
Which do you prefer?
It depends on the options. I feel like in this situation, I only have one Saha Quill, so I'd probably save it. But it gets the 2 damage in. It also presents a board option, so there's definitely nothing wrong with it.
Bounces back.
Conflagration can also help against boards where there's a bunch of the 2/3 wards, as opposed to just 1 and then 2 smaller followers. So Conflagration saved is definitely not a bad play.
Yeah.
And I don't really see an option for Praetorian. I think he just has to go with the Deus Ex and redraw here. Doesn't have a lot of action in hand at the moment.
He's losing a lot of pretty good cards.
Yeah.
He's losing an Iron Staff. He's losing a Saphira. He's losing a Fall from Grace.
And then Nilpotent. Yeah, this is kind of rough. Maybe I can see him playing a Saphira and evolving it for face damage here.
Neither human nor
Which
beast.
Oh, okay. Not even for face, just a clear board.
Yeah, I mean, I can see a world where you're kind of, you know, you're not really developing the artifact game plan right now either. I don't know if you want to take this to the long game, though.
That's always the rough thing about playing these Fall from Graces in the Portalcraft deck. It's that you do have them at the right time, but it scares you into not wanting to redraw with Deus Ex, which basically can just send you into a losing path anyway because you're not doing what your deck's supposed to do.
Yeah. If you know your opponent did not play tilting on curve, what information does that give you to decide how to play out the rest of your game?
Well, I mean, for the context of the board, HIMARI wasn't really safe to play tilting yet, and I think that's kind of what Praetorian's doing. He's which is kind of weird. He's like saying, I want to present boards to you that is going to make it really uncomfortable to play tilting at windmills, even though I have the answer to it, and I'm not redrawing my hand because I have that answer. So he's kind of just delaying himself, I feel like. Praetorian's kind of playing this mind game, but I don't think it's working to his advantage at the moment.
I think now you can just play your Deus Ex, you avoid the Resonance, and now you have much more control, right? Having this effect installed is nice. It avoids you having to play 6 play points on a card that isn't kind of changing the board state.
All must come to an end.
And at a moment's notice, you can decide to just go on your redraws.
And honestly, I mean, it's not like it's bad. Praetorian just has all of these options. He's probably going to lay out a lot of them. But HIMARI, I mean, he's got a lot of these big boom booms in hand. You can just start laying them out. Basically just Bahamut's or Israfils or anything like that.
Yeah. A lot of heavy cards here. The only thing is that the tilting at windmills is missing. But we know that the instant the first one is dropped, it's just going to get transformed.
Maybe. Maybe. It really just depends on how long Praetorian wants to hold on to this hand. He's got ways to turn on and off his Resonance at will, so... And honestly, he doesn't have a real answer to this Bahamut. He might have to Fall from Grace it.
He can pull an artifact, which will likely pull... I don't know how many Icarus he's played. Oh, interesting.
Okay. This will prevent damage, so this looks like it will be a redraw turn, which means Fall from Grace will probably happen as well. Yep. Put in some wards. Not bad. All right, nice. Redraws into... Not anything spectacular. This is probably one of the not good redraws that his deck has available to him.
You can force an artifact out with the machine.
Oh, and the tilting freshly drawn, and this is definitely a board where you can play it.
Yeah. Remember, Nilpotent is going to slow down that. So even though one of the Fall from Graces was already used, the Nilpotent had its enhanced effect.
That's right. If you guys want to read that, realistically, it just means that you cannot take more than 3 damage at a time for as long as it's in play. So it's basically the Nisha for Portalcraft.
Question is, a discard typically counts as a destroyed, right? So that counts towards Saphira?
It should.
Discards gain you shadows.
Okay. Decided not to play the tilting at windmills here. Just installing the Israfil as a threat.
Yeah, this is going to profit play points every time you play a 1 Playpoint artifact. I would Machine Soldier.
Yep, you get to Machine Soldier, turn Resonance on, Dimension Cut goes up to 4 damage.
Yeah.
Then you can clear out this Isserfil.
Just as long as you make sure to control your Resonance afterwards, depending on what you want to achieve. Okay. Does the 4.
And I see a lot of people taking Dimension Cut out of their Portalcraft lists as of late. I don't agree with that. It's so good. 2 for 4. No downsides.
Yeah. I feel like you definitely want to shuffle your hand here.
Oh yeah, 100%. Installing more wards, probably a pretty smart idea as well. Wards is one of the other ways you can kind of circumvent taking a lot of damage from tilting and windmills.
How do you want to spend the Evolution Orb? I would imagine removing big followers. Oh, gets the second Fall from Grace.
Bad. And a Saphira.
So this is the second Saphira we've seen, right? I'm pretty sure Praetorian plays 3. So there does get to the space where you know that if you swap your hand out, you are leaving no Saphiras left in your deck. Which, you know, there are ways to win without Saphira, but it speeds up the game plan so fast, right? It makes the game plan much easier to execute.
100% agreed. Saphira is basically just like this nice little safety blanket that you're like, all right, okay, I can do some stuff. This is a hand he can definitely keep with. It really just depends on how HIMARI wants to play out his hand.
Yeah, he's got the other Acceleratium as well. The only thing is there's no Spinarias, there's no Machine Soldiers, there's no... Oh, there is an Icarus.
There is an Icarus, but that doesn't... oh yeah, that's true. There is an Evolution Orb left for Praetorian, so that can affect Resonance. Of course, there is the top of the deck as well.
It's a 1 health drain.
And just
just passes.
Why is he so afraid to play his tilting and windmills? I mean, worst case scenario, it gets turned into another drain follower. I'm not sure why he's just passing these turns away. He didn't even conflagrate or anything.
It definitely is one of those decisions where you need to think about, hey, if I play, you know, I'm scared to play because it's going to be countered, but that's going to happen at some point anyways, right?
I mean, in this fashion, Saphira doesn't come down, but if he did the math, you know, there has not been that many artifacts that have died this game. Saphira is not a lethal play, not yet anyway.
If you evolve the 2/2, even an Israfil wouldn't be able to push past.
I am so confused by last turn from HIMARI. He didn't play any card in his hand, none. Not a conflag, not a tilting, not the Sybil.
I feel like if you get your opponent down to 11, it is entirely possible with 10 play points to, in one turn, boost up your Saphira by upwards of 5, 6, 7 damage, and then just close it out the next turn.
I think HIMARI might have put himself into a really poor position this last turn by just not doing anything. Like, allowing Praetorian to get this damage in and not dealing with the board for a turn basically just means you're closer and closer to this point where you're just going to die to a Saphira, like you were saying, like after it builds up.
Oh, finds a Spinaria. So has to control Resonance a bit here. Otherwise, you ditch your opportunity to fall from Grace.
That's right, and Nilpotent will go away at the start of next turn.
Is there any way to do that? There's no way to take down your own Spinaria's artifacts, so no, he's going to have to basically shuffle here. So I almost would maybe consider just dropping the Saphira and swinging face.
Yeah, I agree. That gets the most damage done this turn. Looks like he wants to go with the Acceleratium play, though. Again, he does have one Saphira left in the deck, so it's not like he's too worried about it.
Just put stats on board. Could you imagine if that effect stacked?
Well, you probably deck yourself in like a matter of 2 seconds if they stacked. It would be cool if they gained like different effects the more you played them.
Oh yeah, hey, there's that new Portalcraft card that got announced that actually advances the puppets several stages the more you play. Well, I'll tell you about it later.
Puppets?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a really cool card.
I want some more puppets in my life. All right. So, the play here, I mean, he could have been setting up for some kind of a Queen of the Dreadsea tilting combo, but that doesn't really end the game, especially not this turn. I'm not sure what he's afraid of is the question. Like, why is he not playing his cards?
Even if you did throw down the tilting, I suppose the nilpotent would have protected Praetorian.
Yeah, but you
then
at least spent your 7 play points already to get out of your hand.
Yeah.
As opposed to just keeping it in there.
Interesting. I think this game just got very difficult for HIMARI.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's been putting himself there. It's not like he's out of this game by any stretch. He still has a lot of good options.
Ready to witness my true strength?
Okay, Israfil is going to wipe the board, but there is... I mean, in some ways, this is a little bit welcome for Praetorian.
The gears of fate
Right.
still turn.
He's going to be able to throw in a bunch of artifacts. Name of the game here is how much damage can he build up here?
Join me on
Yeah,
a
he's just
musical
stocking him up. He's loading up the artifact barrel.
Yeah, and there's quite a few to go through this turn as well. And he's got analyzing into mystic, so lots of card draw. Lots of artifacts getting destroyed here.
Analyzing into ancient, into mystic, probably.
Oh, Biofab's pretty cool option too. It allows him to do more things this turn.
Yeah, if he biofabs, then he can play out the mystic, gain play points back by playing the... Oh, play the Hamlin. Load him up. Load him up. The big thing here is even if you do play something like a Bahamut and you have a board full of artifacts, you just shrug and say, cool, thanks.
It's still scary. Yeah, thanks for killing all of my artifacts. Good day to you.
Yeah, just load him up.
Yeah, I think what you do here is you play the Ancient to... Oh, he's playing the Spinaria.
Interesting. I kind of would have felt if you're going to play the Spinaria, just play the Spinaria first.
Yeah.
Nice. That's one more artifact down the chamber.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can have this ping.
Yeah, not a bad option. If he just wanted to have the most artifacts hit the yard as possible this turn, definitely not a bad route to go. He can finish out with a Hamlin on something or a Deus Ex.
Oh man. No Saphira.
No Saphira.
No Saphira. Mystic artifacts don't gain you play points either, but you can Mystic and then play the Ancient artifact that'll land you at 10, which means that he can have at least one draw that could hit into a Saphira. At least.
Mari, you can see him. You can see him thinking about this game. This game has not been easy for him. Maybe it's just like not a lot of practice against Portalcraft.
Yeah.
And he's thinking about things that we are not, you know what I mean? Like, again, he's had a lot of options in his hand for a long time, and he's just kind of not, you know,
Yeah.
with it. He's not playing his threats on turns that you'd expect him to. The tilting is still in hand.
Salamander plus Blazing Breath will be able to clear out the Spinaria and the Deus Ex and the Hamlin, but leave a 2-1.
Okay. Finally decide to put it down. This might be too late, though.
Board locked.
All right, and there's the Saphira. So, yeah, this is just all face pass. And then...
Is there a Dread Sea combo that will actually punch through and win?
Well, let's see. Dread Sea...
7.
Oh,
The Sybil,
actually...
it's lethal.
That's true.
The Sybil will be able, or the Dread Sea will be able to swing.
So
no, if you get the spell.
You Dread Sea, you Isterfill, and you Breath of the Salamander, and that will take care of it, yeah.
Yeah, the Breath of the Salamander will blow through the ward, and then the Dread Sea and the Isterfill will be able to win it.
Yep. So yeah, so HIMARI managed to figure this one out. I feel like he had the time to do this a lot earlier. And kind of risked it on that last turn, but he knew the board was filled up.
Interesting.
So.
The decision on Praetorian's part to put down the Deus Ex because he wanted more
huge.
stats on board, as opposed to the Mystic Artifact. Interesting. I mean, I wouldn't have thought of it, but in terms of advancing your Artifact game plan, I would have put down the Mystic Artifact just for that.
I usually do that, yeah. The stats do make sense, but again, you board lock yourself. You can't play something off the top if you want to.
The Saphir was definitely at like 11 or 12.
Yeah, it was definitely big enough. HIMARI, you know, maybe a slower game plan, but still figured it out. Still figured out how to get there.
That was a very tough situation. The Nilpotent delayed a lot of turns, and I actually think provided a winning position for Praetorian. So, a little tough that he ended up losing that game.
Yeah. I've got to go back and watch that game and think about why HIMARI elected to just wait and wait and wait with the tilting. There were a few turns where he had a lot easier access than a board that was filled with followers. But again, if you guys notice, one of the biggest strategies that we've been seeing today, and this is probably going to go across the board for a long period of time, is you really utilizing that 5 board space presence. Like when your opponent locks themselves on their board and they cannot produce lethal with it, essentially it does give you another turn to do whatever you want. Not a lot of decks can capitalize on that, but a deck like Tilting at Windmills definitely can.
Now they both swap up their decks. Daria versus Daria. We've seen this mirror match a few times. Interesting. Praetorian decided to spend the insight, drew into the Daria, which means that if he had just waited, he would have had the Daria on this turn plus the insight.
It's true, but of course, when you don't have Daria, you're always thinking about drawing her, so playing the insight on turn 1, definitely not the worst thing. And Daria for both players now. Extra Evolution Orb and Magic Owl go to HIMARI, though, so I would say he is a little bit ahead. Both players have a lot of the same options, so that, in my mind, means the extra Evo / going second is a little bit more potent.
Yeah. It does come down to how quickly the spell boost happens. The fact that HIMARI is going to get the first owl evolved.
Ugh. That doesn't feel good. We actually haven't seen that in a while where double Darias have been drawn.
Oh, no! Oh, no. Praetorian doesn't know, but HIMARI. That could actually be a nail in the coffin for this mirror match.
Yikes. Yeah, not being able to redraw into a Daria means there's no, like, super potent mid-games coming. It's just kind of an all-in type of play, which Praetorian doesn't have to worry about. Plus, Praetorian has all of the tempo. He got that early Ogler.
This also leans HIMARI onto this line of play where he's going to have to feel like he needs to make the most use out of the hand he has currently, right? Because there's not going to be another refill. Yeah,
the redraw is not the most important thing that he wants to do, as in speeding out that Daria, because he knows that when he doesn't have the chance to draw another Daria. However, it's not like his hand's very good outside of that. He's got an Ogler, a Blade Mage, and a Chimera, but all of them still pretty pricey.
Interesting. Wow, this is a turn. Really? He could have evolved face. I guess he wants to evolve the owl.
Evolve the owl. Hopefully unload in his entire hand next turn.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, this is turning out real good for Praetorian.
Yeah, all because of the draws. I mean, HIMARI just, you know.
Oh. That's basically a dead card. At this point, just draw more. Just
I don't know, honestly, if drawing more is the right option. This is such a weird hand.
What can you do? You basically need to draw into things that can affect the board quicker than just one card at a time, right?
Yeah.
You don't have multiple chimeras that are playable back to back here.
I mean, if you play the concentration, you can play the Blade Mage, but that doesn't really do a lot.
Play Ogler Blade Mage, right?
I mean, you could just play Ogler Blade Mage this turn and clear the board. You could play Chimera and do the same thing. Yeah, looks like you can go with the Chimera option.
It won't be long now.
Which makes a relatively good target for a Piercing Root, but won't actually destroy the followers, so.
Chimera will, though. So let's see. Next turn. Are they all on 3? 4. Okay, so he can't do everything.
Yeah. But knowing that Daria is going to go off next turn, there's no possible way that Praetorian can draw both of his Darias before this happens.
Right.
So he's going to choose to take it this turn, and this is really going to decide things. Oh, lands another one. Okay. Yep. Well, things just got exponentially more difficult, I feel like.
Finds the Daria. That's right. Finds a lot of good spells to use as well. Oh, my goodness. Just the expense of HIMARI's hand, you know what I mean? You can see it on his face, too.
Yeah. Very troubling. HIMARI is in a very, very difficult spot here.
Yikes. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's stressing out.
Yeah.
He's stressing out. HIMARI, get it together, my friend. It's okay. It's just one game.
Yeah. He still has a lot of chances, right? He has a bracket reset.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to lose a series if he loses this game either.
Maybe the pressure's getting to him a little bit, though.
Yeah. The Darias are all together now. 4, 5, and 6.
We need to make a good comic about Daria's coming down and sitting at a little table together eating some lunch.
Yeah.
And how much they hate each other.
Yeah, just arguing.
Yeah.
Just plays it.
Yeah.
Just plays it. Gonna have to land into something big here. Oh no!
Yikes. Yikers. I mean, honestly, at this point, knowing that all 3 of my Darias are done now, I'd probably just scoop it up. But you're not going to do that in a competitive game like this.
Oh no!
There's always a chance, but yeah, the odds are pretty slim at this point. It's a problem with playing these high roll decks. Sometimes you low roll, and yeah, you get beat up.
Do you play the knowledge to see if you get the missile? I think you do. Just to see. Because if you get the missile, then you can missile, then piercing rune and wipe the board.
I mean, can't.
3,
oh no, Chimera was
4.
freshly drawn.
Here's
Go
the
for
missile.
it.
Yeah, yeah, missile. Oh my god. Oh my
The
god, it's
10%
Praetorian's
missile.
magic!
No, yeah,
He evolved first just because he knew it was going to happen. He's just like, whatever, we got this.
Yeah. Oh,
And he's got the
man.
magic missile,
Yeah, you can even missile and
which
then Daria
he
for
should have
0.
done first.
not here, not now.
Oh, you know what? He's honestly going to play the Clark. That's probably why.
You can't.
No. Oh, that's right. He's only got 2 left. So yeah, probably should have magic missiled first, but I don't think it's going to matter.
Oh no. Oh no.
He's going to Daria anyway. Wow.
Oh, I got the blade mage.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's a wrap.
that's that.
That's a wrap. So now Portalcraft. That's what it's going to come down to.
Oh no. Well, stage 1 of the wager is going to come true here, I feel like.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah,
You
the
think-
bracket reset. I feel like it's going to happen.
You think Portalcraft is going to take down one of these 2 decks?
I think Portalcraft is very likely to take down one of 2 of these decks. Probably the Shadow.
Looks like you are.
Yeah, if any, probably the Shadow. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, HIMARI can easily come back and win 2 games against Portalcraft. Praetorian might say that it's super consistent. I'm not going to go that far.
Mm-hmm.
Portalcraft is definitely a decent deck.
He
Consistent.
had himself on the game that Portalcraft lost this series. He did have himself a winning situation. I think there were decisions that could have been made to get closer to a win. So, I mean, so far today, he's only played a few matches, but there hasn't been a game where I felt like Portalcraft would just fall over and lose.
He also has not been without Deus Ex.
Yeah.
Again, this is another day where we see him draw it pretty much
Yeah.
all the time.
Though you are right, you know, in the sense of like, if you put in cards that cycle for you, and especially if you combine that with cards that can, like the Machine Soldier, pull those artifacts out, you're actually getting ahead, right?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. You're pulling the artifacts out, you're drawing the cards, so basically everything that you're doing is getting to,
Yeah.
you know, getting you closer to what
And
you need.
6 turns is a lot of turns to draw cards.
It is. It is. I mean, I've gone plenty of games playing Portalcraft where I never see one, though. It is definitely possible.
Chair stream.
Chair stream it is.
Chair stream.
The finals of EU. Brown chair versus white
Look-
chair.
I want you guys to take a moment and look at the cupboard behind HIMARI. Look at his trophies. This guy is a winner.
Yeah. What are those trophies for, I wonder?
He's got like 7 of them.
Let's see. One's for eating pie. One of them's for probably chess.
I think that the one on his left shoulder looks like a football trophy.
It could be a football trophy. So
One
he's
looks like
got
running.
all kinds of sports going on. He's got esports, he's got regular sports,
Yeah.
and he's got eating sports.
Eating sports.
Yeah.
That's esports, my friend.
That's true. Eating sports. All right, getting into the 4th game here, guys.
Okay.
I guess you're looking for a fight.
Activate.
Let's see if HIMARI has what it takes to take down this Portalcraft deck.
Oh.
Deus Ex in the opening hand from Praetorian.
Watch Praetorian mulligan that.
No, no way. No way.
Not the best redraw.
Not the best redraw.
There are some very good options that Portalcraft will have against this. Substitution is very nice. It kind of allows you to do things like a analyzing artifact perhaps into a follower, then substitute to finish out the job. Dimension cut can be very nice here.
Yeah, Dimension Cut is definitely one of the options you want to see over Substitution against Daria, just because it can clear out bigger followers, especially those Chimeras and those Oglers that can come down super early.
What are they? Watch them. Okay, so no Radiant. Got the Mystic and the Ancient, I believe. Who's got Ward?
I'm still unsure about that 2-drop. I don't play it in my versions just because it's random. I don't really like random stuff in a deck that you want to make consistent, but
Yeah.
he does like that option.
In this particular scenario, it's working out, right? Because like you said, at some point, if you have the Deus Ex already, you kind of are okay with whatever happens after this point, right? The
It's
more
true.
artifacts, the better. Just load them up.
It's true. And honestly, I think realistically, it does add some form of consistency in the fact that you get a 2-drop that adds artifacts to your deck. Because one of the worst feelings in playing Portalcraft is when you have that draw where you have like 3 Fervent Machine Soldiers and like, you know, a Hamlet or something, and you're just like, I can't do anything with my hand.
If Himari does not get any kind of spell... Okay, he's on an evolution turn, so not too bad.
No, his hand's looking pretty decent. He's got a lot of things that he can do with the hand already before he even goes with the Daria.
Just start playing. Just start playing stuff.
Start going wild.
Yeah, having the Daria in hand really helps. He's got a bunch of 1-cost spells that can help him kind of accelerate into this game. The pass turn.
Interesting. Wanted to save the Icarus for the Evolve. Can't hate on it. Basically just wants to have all options to clear big boards if you can.
Which I think is a very fine strategy.
Okay, going with the Ward instead of more spell option here.
You're done for.
So there's 2 ways that you can approach having the tools to clear board, right? Making sure you have the value, right? You have followers on board over your opponent, and then making sure you can get maximum out of things like Rush. And, oh, the Acceleradium. That's big. That is huge.
Interesting to me that Himari decided to go with this play going into an Evolve turn instead of just setting up for a lot more spell boosting. And not saving the Ward for a turn where he could play a bunch of followers behind it, but maybe just doesn't care.
Interesting. Trades out. I would have thought you would have spent the Ancient Artifact to maintain the 4/4 on board. He has a lot of options. Fall from Grace, Analyzing with the Acceleradium.
Yeah, I think next
Ancient
turn is just going to
artifacts.
be Ancient Analyzing into Deus Ex.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, if he does actually have to trade with its Analyzing, that will turn Resonance off, so probably not going to try to trade with that if he can help it.
But he has options.
90% circle. We're going to have to actually do the math on that, but I want to say it's circle maybe even more than 90%
We've
of
seen
the time.
2 missiles today, I feel like, and then everything else was circles.
I think last week we didn't even see a missile. I think it was all circles, all day, all the time.
Yeah.
It won't be long now.
All right.
Okay.
Pretty high value magic out here.
Yeah. So, unless you're willing to... Yeah, I think you just kind of have to Deus Ex and maybe evolve and run it in if you want the hand shuffle.
Atone with your lifeblood.
Nope, probably can't do that now.
With a bang and a boom.
I like it. Just Darian up.
Okay.
Finds
Do you
another
even play the
Daria.
Deus Ex on this turn? If you know that your hand can't shuffle because you have to trade in.
Maybe you don't trade in. I don't know. That's the real question. Depends on how you want to play this hand.
Oh, God, that hurts.
Yikes.
I mean, it's probably okay, honestly, against Daria. Daria's either going to burn out by that time, or you're going to lose, right?
I mean, but if you don't redraw here, it's not like your hand is taking care of a lot of this anyway.
This machine shall weave your
Okay, so evolve Daria, or evolve Deus Ex. We'll probably be able to take down the Daria here. You can take down the Blade Mage, but if you do that... So I think you may as well take down the Owl, or the Ogler, depending on which you value more.
Nah. Take down the Blade Mage with the with the Ancient, and then just pass, redraw, Because if you don't, you're not leaving yourself with a lot of options to another big board here.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Time to head
I think you just have to suck up taking the 7 possible 9 damage to the face. It sucks, but
Yep, there it is. There's a redraw. Lands into the Dimension Cut and the Ancient Artifact. The Nilpotent actually might be relevant.
and he got a couple awards too, which is pretty good.
Hamlin as well to help extend more Ancient Artifacts.
All right, Missile, pretty good pull here.
The gears of fate still turn.
This is tough. This is a great Daria hand.
This is, I mean, a lot of options. Still a Blade Mage. Probably just gonna pop Daria
Yeah.
off right here. I don't see any reason why to hold it.
Yep. Third Daria. Ooh,
Not
the
quite.
Flame Destroyer and the Enchanted Sword. So this could be a very fast-paced win with the Enchanted Sword coming down on the next turn. It all depends on what Praetorian can put together here. I would start out with the Hamlin. Make sure you get 2 Ancient Artifacts.
By the way, if you guys aren't playing 3 Hamlins in your Portalcraft decks yet, you
You're
should be
it wrong.
doing that. Yeah.
You're doing it wrong. Okay, so what is the strategy here? You can activate Residence by running your Analyzing in, which means that Dimension Cut can get rid of one of the 4 defense followers. Oh, another Hamlin!
That was pretty DC.
This is why Hamlin's so great.
Yeah, Hamlin's insane. Why, you guys may be asking, because A, it lets you copy anything in your hand. B, it lets you copy any artifact in your hand, which speeds up your Sapphiras way, you know, just a lot quicker.
Yeah.
Access to higher damage spheres. Plus, I mean, when you have cards like this in your hand, especially with Accelerating in play, it just allows you just so much more advantage.
Profiting play points will also be able to set up a ward and maybe a Nilpotent as well. I think you may as well, right? Unless you're worried about blocking your board.
Yeah, looks like that is the option. Protect himself just a little bit here.
That means even if there's a Flame Destroyer installed on this turn, it's very possible that Praetorian can get breathing room enough for one turn to set something else up.
The march goes on.
Okay, Magic Owl not the worst here.
Yep. Still has quite a lot of cards in hand, which can extend, like if a Daria shows up in the next turn, that will basically, I feel like, be the nail in the coffin. Evolve here.
Yeah, evolve, play the Flame Destroyer.
He's going to be able to either get Two-Face or take down the Hamlet. I think it's probably going to be the Two-Face. I can't imagine you would be scared. That's only going to do 3. That's going to survive this valuing.
This is a really good tempo turn from Himari. It'll be really hard to deal with this board. Let's see what Praetorian can do to stop this. I mean, he does have some options in Dimension Cut. No Evolution Orb.
Uh-oh, I don't think there's a way to actually pull out an artifact here.
Yeah. There's no way to activate Resonance. This is rough. Probably just going to have to play the Saphira out.
Neither human
That's about
nor
it.
beast.
Yeah? So he's going to take 3 and 3. So if there's no Blade Mage drawn, there's no lethal here. Is he shuffling? Nope, Resonance is off. That's very likely going to close out the game.
Yeah, going to go down to 1. Going to have a pretty big board as well. Chimera going to clear off another one of these followers.
Nice.
Yeah, that redraw from Praetorian was not what you want to see.
We'll see. I mean, he could... What would he want to draw here? Spinaria will give him 2 artifacts. Maybe if it pulls an Analyzing.
I mean, it's still not going to be enough. He's not going to be able to clear this entire board.
I believe.
I mean, he's got a chain, right? He's got a perfect chain into only artifacts off of this in order if he wants to win this game.
Give it the Biofab.
Okay, that's a start.
Give it the Biofab. It has to pull an artifact. Come on.
It cannot stop.
Okay. Okay, that can...
That's not good
Nope.
enough.
You don't have enough play points. Oh, no. Himari is worried, too.
Yeah, I think the nerves are getting to Himari. He's just like, oh, man, this is tough. This match is tough.
Yeah. Oh, no. The 1 damage ping, and Himari knows he can close it out.
All right. So
the last portion of gas that Daria had was able to close out the game.
You said almost guaranteed Praetorian's going to reset this bracket. I don't know. HIMARI might not let him get there. It's going to be Shadowcraft versus Portalcraft.
I think it's going to happen against Shadow.
It might. It might. Shadowcraft is definitely a deck that can lose to Portalcraft. Basically, they do similar things, but Portalcraft has a higher top end as far as board control is concerned. To keep the board clear for a lot more often here.
Yeah. A very interesting game. I feel like things ramped up very quickly for HIMARI, and that kind of made it feel unstoppable for Praetorian.
Yep. Plus that one redraw. Every once in a while, you know, as consistent, quote unquote, as Portalcraft can be, one single redraw can just brick you.
Yeah.
And you can't do anything.
So one game separates Praetorian and HIMARI here. HIMARI might be able to just turn this tournament off and say, I am the champion.
That's right. This could be it.
Chronogenesis.
This is as a match point.
Yeah. First place finish, $6,500. And the flair to say you are the best.
That's right. And he's doing it with Shadowcraft against Portalcraft. Everybody thinks that Shadowcraft is the deck. Praetorian was like, nah, Portalcraft. Portalcraft.
Okay. Soul Squashers and Pure Hearted Singer.
All right,
Let's go
keeping
for a curve.
Yeah, this makes me think that he is going first, which he is. Generally speaking, you don't want to keep little Soul Squashers in your opening hand if you can help it, but it'll let him curve out, so not a bad option.
Yeah. Do you prefer... Do you prefer Attendant on of the Night on 3?
Well, it depends on the draws here. Everything being equal, there's no way to pop the Attendant of Night immediately, so I think I'd probably lead with Skull Ring. But it depends. Depends on the next couple draws for HIMARI. He's got 1 or 2 more draws here to see what he wants to do.
Praetorian has 6 Deus Ex Machinas in his deck.
I swear, dude. I swear Praetorian just he knows that secret sauce. Like he does something with that Portalcraft deck to where he gets that card every single game, because I can tell you from experience, and I play a leaner version that doesn't have all of the extra 2-drops and stuff in the deck, and I do not draw Deus Ex every game by any means.
Okay, there's a trade.
I gotta know what
there's a world where Praetorian runs out of options.
It's true. His hand's pretty expensive.
It's getting a little bit chunky. He's basically living off the top, right? He needs to. I feel like you almost need to pull something like an Icarus to gain enough cards in hand.
That's true.
To have a beefy turn.
What's interesting too is he hasn't really had a hand. This is the first one that's getting close to it, where you get like all 3 Deus Ex and like all 3 Saphiras like before turn 6, and you're just like, okay.
Yeah.
But this could turn into that type of draw. It's not like I want that draw to happen.
Ooh, just passes through. The Iron Staff, holding strong. Okay, has at least something to play out here. I think, given this scenario, you kind of may as well just play the Accelerating while you can.
Maybe. It will give Rush to the Spinaria artifact. It's just, I don't know if you get enough value out of it to justify playing it.
I feel like there's a little bit of an emergency happening here, though.
Sure, you're a little bit behind, but we'll see. Prince Catacomb, pretty good play. Doesn't allow you to do too much to the board, though, if you do that.
Interesting. Yeah, there's not quite enough play points. You'll use most of your last word effects if you Prince Catacomb, right? Because I imagine you'll throw the 2 skeletons and then evolve the Catacomb to take down the 4/3. You do still hold a pretty good board. And I think because Acceleratium wasn't played on this turn, there's actually not going to be a lot to turn it around. 2 followers taken down at the best, I think, on the response for Praetorian. Playing the Spinaria, evolving the Spinaria, then having the artifact ping.
I honestly wouldn't have minded the Attendant of Night plus Zombie Party. Like, evolve the Attendant of Night, take out the ward, and then Zombie Party the 4/3. The Prince Catacomb definitely good here.
I like this turn, too. Just being okay with possibly 4 damage coming through, but threatening on the next turn so much more. Turn is the same. You can value. Yeah. It doesn't feel comfortable clearing this board, but I think you just kind of have to swing into it, right?
Yeah, you got to start getting rid of some of these followers. I mean, you can't leave them all with their last word effects and all in play by the turn by turn 7, because of course we know Ektar can come down and just end of the game.
Yep.
I think Praetorian just has to play super defensively here.
Okay. Get the 3-1. Oh, didn't get it. Now the Skeleton Prince into Ektar becomes a very, very, very powerful kind of 2-turn setup.
Odile's not a bad play this turn. Let's see, Skeleton Prince is decent.
If you play the Odile, I suppose you would want to swing the Catacomb into the Spinaria.
Mm-hmm. And then you clear board, and then you get to push 4 damage. Yeah, looks like Odile is the play.
Interesting. Okay.
Can even decide to Evo for face this turn as well.
Oh, hey, we talked about this line of play. The time where Odile isn't the one that swings into the Odette.
So more defense left on the Odile here.
Do you evolve face?
I think so. Honestly, you're going into turn 6. You're thinking, okay, they have Saphira or Deus Ex. They want to take out my Odile. I get more than 2 damage off this Evolution Orb, and I am the proactive player at the moment. I really like it.
Again, threatening, probably lethal with Ektar.
Definitely lethal with Ektar. If not, this board gets cleared.
Yeah, I'm imagining this last Evolution Orb is going to go to clearing the board. Acceleratium still not down. Means that now, even if you play the Spinaria, you would not have enough play points to play out Rush Followers.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what I mean. On turn 4, you floated 2 play points, right? It's not efficient use of the Acceleratium, but if you know you're that behind on board, like the other part of it too
like,
is
what would it have done? You know what I mean? Like, it would have helped a little bit, but then it would be gone. Like, I don't know.
Well, at this point, like, you're still dead, right?
Yeah.
So, like,
I guess that's true.
you need any little advantage you can get, and you're probably gonna throw it away if things go well and you Deus Ex. You know what I mean? So it's like you already have the Deus Ex in hand.
Machine-driven world must end.
Okay, well this is really kind of a very scary turn for Praetorian, and I don't know if he even turns around on the.
Oh my God, that's not lethal. It's 1 damage away from lethal, but it's going to make this game very hard.
Very difficult. Oh no!
Wow. I mean, honestly, he doesn't even have to go that path, but I think he's going to push this big amount of damage in. Maybe he saves it though. If he trades, it looks like he's doing something else. Yeah, wants to set up.
Well,
a
again, it's 2-turn. Yeah, Skeleton Prince.
This is it.
And at this point, when you lock your board like this, totally fine because you're still gonna win.
Right.
You know?
Right. You can easily lock your board if you're presenting lethal.
Yep.
Oh
no.
Yeah. The Ektar
And it looks like all the predictions are going to fall apart.
So no reset happening, and HIMARI is going to take this one. I don't see any out here for Praetorian. He's got 1 ward. The end.
What a difficult series. There was a lot of back and forth, and I think both players exposed weaknesses in each of the games, but eventually HIMARI got the better end of the deal.
HIMARI's got to be feeling good. When you have a full board, your opponent's at Ektar range, and you have the Ektar in hand, especially freshly drawn, you're feeling pretty good. It looks like the stress has left HIMARI.
Yeah.
The head is not in hands anymore.
There has to be a very fortunate chain of events.
I don't even think there's enough
he
artifacts
actually
in the
pulled
deck.
an artifact off of it. This is going to allow him to extend how much he can clear. I think Praetorian is trying not to use the ward as much as he can. But there's going to be zombies generated off of this.
It doesn't matter.
He's trying so hard.
There are too many skeletons.
Too many skellies. If this draws another artifact, I'm going to go insane.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Does that actually save him?
Let's see. Yeah, it does. It does save him for the turn.
God.
That
But
was
it didn't
crazy.
shuffle his hand.
He didn't shuffle.
There's
Oh,
no
Lord.
way.
Oh, Lord.
There's no way.
Oh, my goodness.
There's no way.
I
Come
mean,
on.
honestly, the board can get filled up again, right? The zombie party's there. You don't have to Ektar again. You can just set up another lethal turn. You can also even just set up a really hard to clear board with the Attendant of Night and Lurching Corpse and still use the zombie party to clear out the ward and deal some damage this turn. Yeah. This is perfectly fine. Just presenting lethal every single turn is kind of a state that's really hard for Portal to get through. But
Oh, man. 2 meta productions? That can play with your residence. So, yep, start with the Spinaria.
yep, see what you draw.
So, every artifact, incidentally, that gets put down here is a laser beam cannon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you have to throw this one in. You just have to.
You have to. You have to start the chain. I honestly think you should probably meta production first just to give yourself more chances to draw artifacts.
Yeah.
But
Okay, definitely.
Awaken, awaken.
it's not quite it.
Well, you swing with one. It could, actually, if you swing into one of the zombies, swing the Spinaria into another one, this could double ping the zombie.
That's true. He's got to get lucky with the ping. Oh, no. He only has one artifact in play,
But
right?
it's
oh,
two
it's
Spinarias.
Two Spinarias, right.
Okay, show me the move. Huh!
Oh!
Oh my god!
Narrowly hanging on. Wow. What is happening right now?
Oh my god!
What is happening right now? Wow.
I don't know if it even matters. But it's not a bad redraw.
I said there was no way, but apparently Praetorian has been... What
The next stage
made
of the
some deal with
competition, though,
somebody.
is now you're having to race against Aisha, right?
Right. I mean, Himari is just like, okay, the head is back in the hands. After all of this board trading, he's just like, you know what? I'm going in with my Ektar.
Yeah,
I'm
this is
just doing it.
fantastic. The Lurching Corpse. That might seal the deal, because Spinaria is the only thing I feel like really keeping him alive. I don't know, you're going to get 2 puppets here. And the last word effect is not going to pop because you're going to substitute, right?
If Praetorian wins this game, this is a game that we will record, okay? And show over and over again. If you want to beat Shadowcraft with Portalcraft, and you're in dire straits.
It's going to be so tough. There's not a lot of artifact poolers here. The Spinaria was a heart of that before, but you've got 2 wards, but if you play the 2 wards, you don't have a lot of removal.
Yep.
Oh, he's trying to get rid of the Spinaria.
Very tough choice here, but he's going to trade in both of his zombies.
Alone.
He's at 1.
So you're at 9 play points, so you can play 2 of your Iron Staffs and 1 substitution.
Draws the dimension cut, too.
I think that's your only choice, right? Substitute, Iron Staff, Iron Staff.
Okay. Yep, I like that.
Is there any way for you to activate Resonance?
If that's the case, you still technically die to Aisha, but I don't think you can really afford to play around that at
I
the
don't
moment
know
when
if
you're
there's
at
a
1.
way to avoid both.
Yeah, and there's no way to activate Resonance to get the dimension cut for more damage here. Man. The fact that Praetorian's even been able to hold on this long is just absolutely incredible.
I can't believe 2 turns in a row. Oh my god. The double ping on the zombie was what really did
He's
it.
got 2 Hamlins, right? So he can make it up to 3 puppets.
Yeah, the puppets.
And then he can not substitute after that. So
Can he dimension cut?
it's only 2.
I think he's done the math.
Oh, never
well,
mind. Yeah, this works. This works the other way. And then he can substitute it.
Yep.
But this again leaves him completely open to pretty much everything.
No shuffle, but he's going to have the play points to set up the wards still. That's not it. That's not it.
That's not it. But I think Attendant of Night's going to be a very good option here. Substitution's gone now.
Yep, he's going to be able to do this combo of the Andriolphus into the Demon Eater. At this point, Himari knows. You just draw as fast as you can. Start.
Okay. All right. Well, now Skeleton Prince is an option with an Ektar next turn. Looks like he's going to go with the Skull Ring and the Attendant probably this turn.
This is gonna be so tough.
Praetorian, prove to us that Portalcraft is okay. That's not a 20
the Saphira is
damage.
definitely
That's
not a 20.
That's
Come on.
not a 20 damage Saphira.
So I think you have to go somewhere along the lines of that Hamlin play and then make sure you have a ward at the end.
And there is a puppet left, so puppet
1, 2,
can clear out
3.
a lot.
You have enough shadows to summon zombies. No, so you can't leave anything on board because if anything can swing, the zombies from Ector will be able to rush through.
Yeah.
Which means you have to actually take down a Lich.
Can you do it though? I mean, technically speaking, there is an option to fall from grace to clear out another 1/1.
But that's so expensive. That's a very expensive option. The big question is, can you deal enough to take down the Lich? The only way you can do that is, I think, if you Saphira.
Join me on a musical journey.
Or fall from grace. If
If only that Demon Eater had one defense.
It's so close.
He can play double ward. What does that mean? That means no, because 2 zombies.
Yep, doesn't matter.
I don't think. Oh, and that's gonna be it. Praetorian hangs on for dear life.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. With the board the way it is, no, it doesn't matter because
Yeah.
he can clear off the he can clear off the Skelly before he plays the Ektar. He's got to do it the right way though.
Oh.
Oh no, it's the same thing. It's
Does
the
he
same
summon
thing.
2 zombies?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The 1/1's
'cause
big
it
enough to
buffs
take
up,
care
yeah.
of the board anyway. Man,
Oh man.
what a game! And Himari finally is gonna take this game.
That was so extended, but Praetorian takes the loss, and Himari gets Disastra, their first season win, the champion of Chronogenesis.
That's right, the master of the world of Chronogenesis.
Oh man, $6,500 in the pocket. Himari becomes the champion, and that was a super close game. Portalcraft did not have the best early game.
We'll say it was close. Realistically, Praetorian was delaying the inevitable. He was doing
Yeah.
it very well.
Yeah.
But I don't really know if he had a chance to actually get back into the game to win it.
Really, I think the great tragedies past that point was the inability to activate Resonance.
Yeah.
I feel like if he had just one more
If
shuffle,
he could keep going, yeah, then he would have had a chance. But the fact that he kept stalling, like there wasn't a lot going on.
Yeah, that's tough. The way that the cookie crumbled there. But let's talk to Himari and get.
Himari, what's going on, man? Winner. How does it feel to be the champion?
Yeah, obviously good, but like I'm still thinking about all the misplays. Like, I guess there's a reason why sheep ropes every turn because that's what happens when you play things out a bit too quickly.
All I suggest is take 2 seconds, okay, and just enjoy yourself, okay? You can go back and watch the VODs later. You just became champion. You just won $6,500. You just became the first Disastra member to win an event, okay? Soak it in for a second. Feel good about it.
You're leading the charge for Disastra, Himari. You just won $6,500 under the champion of Chronogenesis. You beat the final boss of Portalcraft. I feel like Praetorian is the best Portalcraft player in the world. How did it feel? Was it intimidating playing against his deck? What do you think about Portalcraft before you play against Praetorian, and what do you think about it now?
Well, I think it's a good deck if you draw Deus on 6, and I guess Praetorian is a really good Portal player and always draws.
Yeah, yep.
So then, you know, Portal looks pretty good, but like, I don't think I'm good enough with Portal to get Deus on 6, so I'd rather not play it because otherwise it doesn't look that nice.
Mindset, yeah.
Himari, for you, I mean, kind of being, I would assume, a newer member, the way kind of Sheepy talks about you, how did you get into Shadowverse? How did you get into competing? Was card games a passion for you? How did you end up in this spot?
Well, yeah, actually, funny story. I previously had played Hearthstone, and yeah, let's say Sheep. I met him, like, I know him in real life, so then he talked about it, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you know, you should try harder and like compete in tournaments and so on." And then at some point, we were like both oh, this game sucks. I don't want to play it anymore. And actually, kind of amusingly, on a university trip, he was playing back then before the game was released on computer. He was playing on his phone. He was playing a tournament, and I was like, "This looks terrible. Like it's this little." It looked awful, and then I tried it, and it was like, "Oh, actually, this is really fun." So yeah,
Nice.
and
Cool.
now I'm here. So
What are you gonna do with your first $6,500 win from Shadowverse? What are you using that money for?
that's a good question. I mean, it's a lot of money for a student like me. So I guess I'll have to think like, do I want to invest it into something, or
Smart
let's
man.
say, I can treat myself. I'll probably buy a sheepy dinner, or
Yeah.
letting
you go.
myself get high rolled.
Make sure you take pictures of that dinner. I wanna
Buy at
see.
least one nice thing for yourself, okay? One nice thing, then you can invest the rest.
If you don't want it, you can buy me one nice thing.
That's true.
I'd
That's true.
really
Rainey
appreciate
always accepts gifts.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, what?
No,
Oh my
don't
God.
agree to this,
Amari,
are
Amari.
you
Don't
going
feed
to
into
do a
this.
hack?
I'm pretty sure now every single broadcast I'm just gonna mention your name at least once now forever. Oh my God!
He just wrote your name down so that he can remember
Yeah.
to say it every broadcast
Yeah.
now. If you
I
actually
write
get him
things
to
that I enjoy. Himari, congratulations on your first place finish. Talk to me a little bit more about kind of. I know Sheepy was a close friend of is a close. I don't know why he's past tense. Is a close friend of yours. Does your family know about kind of you wanting to compete in card games? Do they kind of know that you like gaming at all? Like, how does your family
God,
figure into
no.
this? Oh God, no!
God,
Is this
no.
response?
Find out.
Oh God, no! You hope they don't find out?
I mean, I'll have to explain where the money comes from somehow.
That's true.
What are you
That's
doing
true.
in your free time, Himari?
But I feel like that's the best way to introduce it to your parents, and I feel like Akamaru had a very similar experience when he won the first time. Is, hey, Mom and Dad, you might not agree with me playing video games, but check this out. This is more money than I've made doing anything else. You think this is wrong?
How do you think your parents would kind of react to that? Just out of curiosity. Don't need to share if you're not comfortable, but
I'll just say it was a chess tournament.
What? What?
yes, that's a good
I
good
love
analogy.
me some chess.
Yeah.
But yeah, downgrading esports to chess at this point. I don't
Himari,
know. You gotta let him in.
Wait, how's that the downgrade?
how's that a downgrade? Enzo?
Because, okay, this is what you're doing. This is what you're winning money at, okay? And then you're
Yeah.
going to be downgrading it into something that you did not win this money from, okay?
Well, actually, I'm terrible at chess, so they probably wouldn't buy it.
They'll be like,
go.
no way. Himari, what is it that you do? Kind of, are you a student? Are you in an occupation?
Yeah, I'm a student.
Do you what is your field of study right now?
Biotechnology.
Oh my God.
Ooh.
I feel all of a sudden like I cannot communicate with you anymore.
He's on a different
I'm
level.
just a lowly gamer. I don't know. I don't know anything about biotech.
See, we're the ones that are proud of being being gamers. You're over here getting your biotech degree, being like, I can't tell my parents about the gaming.
That's so. Every time you come on the show, make sure you wear a superhero mask. That's your hidden identity, so that your parents, when they're browsing
That's
Twitch,
true.
they won't
That's
see
true, they can't
Shadowverse
see.
Open on the front page and realize that's my son.
Yeah, what is he doing?
They're gonna barge into your room. Okay, hold on. Let's talk about your future a little bit, Himari. Student, going to DreamHack. Is the World Grand Prix a trip that you want to take if you can?
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, I'm having a lot of fun with the game, so and let's say it sounds like a great experience, and I guess it would be the best proof that I did well. And
Yeah,
sure, I mean, the money's not bad either. Like,
it's not
I
pretty
guess
bad.
1 million, you know.
I guess. That's the
Yeah.
kind of turnaround to your
Could be
parents.
useful.
It's like, hey parents, you don't like video games? I just want $1 million. What now? Refute me.
Himari, as a final question to celebrate your victory here, give us a sneak preview of the script, the story that you're going to tell your parents if you have to explain to them going to Japan.
Oh yeah, the Japanese.
I'd rather not jinx myself by saying that I'm gonna make it, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess we will get to that when that happens. Until then, let's say I'm just having fun with my friends. Like, I guess that's a big part of it.
Absolutely.
The whole thing has been an experience that I started because of friends, and let's say I met a lot of people that are my friends now, and I probably wouldn't have felt like competing so much if it weren't for all the friends I made. So
That's
Perfect. That's a
way
good story.
too anime for me.
No,
right
no,
now.
no. That's
That
a good
is
story
way
for
too
all of you
anime.
out there.
Oh my god.
That's a great story.
It's so touching. I
Meet
can't.
a community, build yourself up in that community, and then they'll help you get there. You know what I mean? Like, he had a base of people to help him get there, and now he's here. HIMARI, great story, great success, great win. Congratulations on your championship. Hopefully, you can feel a little bit better about yourself in your status in Disaster from now on.
Where can people follow more HIMARI if they want to learn from you?
well, I mean, I just hang out on our team server most of the time.
Time to make a Twitter.
I've got the Twitter, but all I do is retweet cute 2D girls, so there's not much Shadowverse content on
Like
there.
I said,
but
time
I
to
guess-
share your Twitter.
It's actually, funny story, the name I use here is not my normal name online.
Well, that's okay.
I just use it because I realized that my normal name, it looks cool on paper, but you can't really pronounce it. I thought it was really clever because it's Michael, which you can probably guess is my name, but with a sky instead of the my. Only then it's kind of a dilemma, like how do you actually pronounce that?
You're going to have to teach that to us when we go to DreamHack. So
yeah, that would be my Twitter, but with 2 L's. So, I mean, if you like cute 2D girls, then you can head there.
yeah, well, Exo is not one of us, so probably not. But
I'm not one of you.
thank you so much, HIMARI. Congratulations on your first place finish.
Yes.
You defeated everybody, and on the winner's side of the playoffs are the Chronogenesis champion for Europe. Thank you so much for the fantastic games. Again, $6,500 in the first place prize.
And that flare that you get to play test against all of your friends with now that says you are the Chronogenesis champion. That is big time.
All right.
I'm sure I'll get a lot more emotes on ladder if I use that, so
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Disastrous HIMARI, ladies and gentlemen, is the winner of the tournament. And that means we're going to be wrapping up the European portion here. $6,500 in the first victor for Disastrous.
Yep.
So we're going to be going to